welcome to the Good Interview. I'm your host, Colin Birch, and today I am grateful enough to be sitting next to Megan Bedingham once more, this time at Sungubala Eco Camp. Megan, how are you doing today?
All good. Thanks for having me again.
Of course. And we aren't staying here. We've been staying at the cabin, but we've taken a walk around. And Sungubala is also very beautiful. Has its own little flair, let's say.
Yeah, it is. It's sort of right in nature. I think the more time I spend up here, the more I love it. It's very, very special. You know, you walk straight from here into a wilderness space, and I don't think there are many places where you can do that. Where you can sort of walk from your front door and you can explore and just be right in the mountains.
It is breathtaking, as I'm sure you guys can see. This is quite something.
Yeah, I mean it's the cavern and Sungubala Montusi. We are surrounded by these cliffs. They're sandstone cliffs, and it's kind of known as the Little Berg. So it's not the main escarpment, but I think that these sandstone cliffs have got really beautiful places that you can explore. Lots of different little caves, and then the walking is also, it can be as hard as you want it to be, or it can be as easy as you need it to be. So a very, very special place. And this was really originally a farm where they would bring sheep over here in the summer months to graze, and then they would often take them across over the mountain to the Free State. And so it's just it's a beautiful. It was used as a farm initially, and then I think in the early 90s we managed to purchase this property from the Wessels family, and there was just an old ruin here on the farm, which was like an old stone house that had sort of over time sort of fallen into disrepair, and so we changed that into the main little building where we've got the lounge and the main kitchen area. And then slowly we have added different types of accommodation to suit different needs.
All right. And so what exactly was the impetus? Walk us through the vision of its creation.
Well, I think, all conservation spaces have got to be income generating in some way if you want to sustain them, because you cannot conserve land without having income, because it is expensive. It's expensive to eradicate invader species. It's expensive to, look out for, to try and even just put fencing up if you need to try, and you also need a presence on the land so that you don't get too much poaching and those sorts of things. And so, in order for there to be a presence here, we decided that we would do a little eco camp. And initially it started off with tented accommodation, and we just found that the tents were tricky in the winter and weren't quite warm enough, and in like windy conditions, they'd like flap a lot. So we eventually decided that we would do something that would be sort of more long lasting. And so we've done, brick and mortar, but we've tried to keep, all the roofs of thatched roofs on the cottages, and, keep to that sort of theme. And we have, my mum and dad ran the camp for a very long time, and last year we took it over from them. And so now we are doing what we've done at the cavern, and that is just tweaking as we go and trying to create a more sort of eco environment and looking at how we do that, but it certainly is a very special space for families. It's a lovely place where you can book it for a group gathering, and you can have sort of 30 to 40 people sleeping up here. And there are communal facilities, so the Boma and the lounge area have got lovely big kitchens, and you can cater together. So it works for quite a lot of different audiences, and I think also the family market can stay in this little cottage that we're staying in at the moment. This is a 5-bedded chalet. We've also got a couple of 2-bedded chalets. We've got rondavels, which are used a lot for over these sort of overland foreign groups that are traveling through South Africa. They often book the A-frames and the rondavels, and then they use the communal cooking facilities.
Okay, that makes sense. And so obviously Sungubala Eco Camp, right? What could you also maybe mention some of the eco initiatives that you guys take place here, and how it essentially entices guests a bit more?
Yeah, so I think that we, there's no power up here, so everything has been, it was originally solar and gas, and we had a little bit of a wind turbine as well. But we've since we've become involved, we've upgraded the solar so that we could put in electric fridges, because we found that just to be actually more just more practical and actually better at keeping things cold than maybe the old
No
gas,
doubt.
the gas ones, you know. So we've sort of upgraded the solar so that it works more efficiently and more effectively. So, and then we still use gas for the heating of water. But I think it's just its natural setting and this, you know, that you are so close to the Drakensberg that makes it very, very special. And we also, you know, it's a space that people can kind of really get into nature. I think, you know, we've got a small little swimming pool that we put in just because there were, you know, that was a request. But we haven't put in like a big pool because, you know, we sort of encourage going down to the river and having a swim in the river rather. And I think that the people that come and stay here, you know, they lack that sort of remote quietness, and that's what Sungubala gives. It doesn't. You're kind of really getting away for things. I think the cavern is kind of like a busier hub. There are lots of families. There's a lot of activity here. There's sort of a stillness and a peacefulness that you can really kind of, you know, sort of relax into, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and I saw that you're just talking about the pool. It's just nestled right below here on this side. Actually.
Yeah.
And I was going to say it's a beautiful spot for it. So just overlooking the little valleys.
Yeah, and we, you know, we're going to put a little deck out so that you can, you know, also kind of bask in the sunshine a little bit and enjoy the views. And but it's a place of real peacefulness and quiet and remoteness. And I think that can be scary for some people when you're quite remote. I don't know, but
that makes sense.
But it's really is quite gorgeous. And I think, you know, you step out and these beautiful hills. You can just kind of breathe it all in.
So speaking of slowing down and taking in the environment, right? How have you guys cultivated this space so that, and with regards to the dining as well, that helps guests to kind of take that step closer to nature and not be too worried about, let's say, what helps with the privacy while still being comfortable and these.
Yeah, so I think, you know, we built the 2 5-bedded chalets to sort of accommodate families, and each place has got its own, you know, sort of braai space outside, and then we built 2-bedded cottages as well, and those have got their kitchens are actually outside, which makes it it's a little quite a little bit different, but it's got a, you know, inside it's sort of an open plan lounge with a bedroom and a place to eat inside it, you know, if the weather's not great, but it's a covered kitchen. And it's just, you know, so you can do things at your own time, and I think that's what people are often longing for. It's not to be rushed and have to, you know, arrive at meal times and then also just having that the option of being outdoors and you know, and we built at the main camp where these sort of there are communal kitchens. You know, there's the option of also there's a lovely fire pit outside. You can braai also at your own time and at your own pace. And then the Boma area also provides a nice covered space with a beautiful fireplace. Where if the weather's not great, you know, you can do board games or you can read and and the idea is really to kind of have a cozy spot where people feel like they are away, but it's still comfortable. You know, I think that's kind of important for a lot of people. You know, they don't want to rough it too much.
Understandable. Yeah. No, that's awesome, because as well, people, as you said, right, in terms of like the cavern, right, where the meal times are set, here you can kind of do it on your own pace. And it really helps, because also not everyone eats at necessarily the same time. Some like to eat earlier, some like to eat later. So
and I think also if you're gonna go out hiking, and you can have an early breakfast, and then you can go off all day, and you take your packed lunches out with you, and I think, like, little initiatives that are important is, all the firewood that is burnt here at the camp, that's all alien wood that we've taken down. We also use the tea bags and put them in paraffin, and those are fire lighters, and we do supply tea and coffee into the units for people for arrival, and I think those are also, it's not single wrappings. So you try to do the little things, you just mindfully. Yeah. Okay.
I like that. And speaking of exploration, right, it being at the heart of Sungubala as well, what other activities do you guys offer here, and what do you think are some that leave a lasting impact on the guests?
Well, I think the hiking here is particularly good because you can, like I said, you can step out and you walk into the, wilderness space. And so people, there is a guide, we have Simon and Armstrong work with us here at the Sungubala, and they stay on the property. And then Tom Bentley comes and joins them each day to help with cleaning and servicing the units. But Simon and Armstrong, they alternate, and they'll take guests out for a hike, and depending on what the party wants to do. So you can climb high and go right to the top of Sungubala Mountain if you want to, or you can just do a lovely loop around Jackal Hill. We also have the rock carving, the Silent Woman on the property, and that was carved in the 1950s by William Chalmers, who was a sort of artist and wanderer and the legend goes that he got sick up in Cannibal Cavern, and at the time that happened, there was a family called the Coventrys that were living at the cavern, and the daughter, nursed him back to health, and the story goes that they fell in love, and they then moved to Sungubala, and then actually later to Top Lodge, which is the next property. And while he was on these properties, he did the 2 rock carvings. So, visiting the Silent Woman, it's just quite fun, and it's just a special. She's kind of hidden away. But down at the river, and so we hikes go there to visit her too.
Okay.
Yeah.
How far away is it?
From us right here?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's like just about maybe 1 kilometer max.
Okay.
She's sort of just down in the river, and she's just unusual, and we've been very lucky because a few years ago we had a lady come and visit us. Her name was Jerry Oosterbrook. And she had a collection of his work, and she wanted it to go back to, where he had sort of spent a lot of his life. And so at the cavern, in our conference room, we've got quite a few of his paintings framed and up. So that's, it's just quite special to, portraits and, different things. And then actually his wife, Doreen, she did a few pictures of bottle brush, which are the lovely red flowers that are in flower at the moment, and those are actually hanging up in the ladies' restrooms at the cavern, which are very pretty too.
I think we have one of those actually right outside where we're staying at the cavern.
Yes, I think you have.
It's a stunning plant. Also.
No, it is. It's beautiful this time of the year. And it's kind of like a scraggly tree, and it's but it does get the most beautiful blooms. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
And so we might actually just after this go check Silent Woman out.
No, it would be a good idea. No, she's. I mean, it's lovely, and I'll explain it quite carefully because some people get there and then they can't find her.
Okay. Fair enough. You said it's a bit.
You've got she is hidden away, but I mean that makes it all the more fun, I think. Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. So I think and people who come and visit here, the trout fishing at the cavern is open to Sungubala guests. The adventure centre is just 7 kilometres down the road. You can still get a tower of pizza if you are staying here. I mean, those are probably the best pizzas in the whole world. It really is that Sunday tradition for us as a family is to kind of go to the Tower of Pizza and have a pizza there. They really are quite spectacular. Yeah, and our spa at the cavern, the Forest Retreat, is also open to Sungubala guests if they're wanting to visit. So there are a range of things that you can do, but a lot of people come here really just to be here and to have quiet time and to do some walking and just to relax. Yeah, and the Northern Horse, which is based at Montusi, they also do horse riding and sunset rides, and so there is also that option. So people can be as busy as they want to be, or they can be as quiet as they need.
Yeah, especially in today's busy times. Sometimes it's necessary to come to a place like this and just
woosah. Yeah. No, it is. It's very special. Yeah.
All right. So in terms of Sungubala being very secluded and off grid, it's also much smaller than the cavern. I've not seen Montusi yet. Not sure how large that is, but it seems like a much smaller camp. Less, how can I say, staff that needs to be employed here to keep things running and maintained and such. But how do you think Sungubala complements Montusi and the cavern as a whole?
Yeah, so it provides a different experience, I think, because it's a self-catering option. That makes it quite different from the others. And it is really for people who want to be on their own and to work, live life at their own pace. Montousi and the Cavern are sort of probably more structured places. The Cavern has a busyness and an energy about it. And you'll see that Montousi it's beautifully tranquil and a little bit more upmarket. And so it's, they definitely fit into very different spaces in the market, and they appeal to different people. So I think it's lovely to tell the story of all three together, because it's something they've kind of grown with our family, I suppose. Ruth and Bill came to the Cavern, they started it, and Sungubala's kind of like hatched out of that. And my dad and aunt, his brother, they developed Montousi in 2000, around about 2000, and that was really like an extension of what they had started. And I think in family businesses, it is important to look at areas of growth and opportunity, and because it keeps you interested and focused and growing and building. And I think that all businesses need that.
No doubt. It's a steady growth and evolution, and as you said yesterday, as well, how you adapt to the changing times and that.
Yeah, and I think you've got to. Well, I think some people can grow fast and they're very successful at it. I have found that we've sort of had small, we grow very sort of incrementally, even in our project work that we've done. It's been, we've grown things very slowly, because it's important that the base is solid, and you can then, do the next thing, and then you get that to be solid, and then you do the next thing. And so I think, we've kind of done that even as a family within the businesses and within the project work. And I hope that will continue it'll have that strong foundation so that you can continue to grow.
For many more generations.
Yeah, hopefully. You never know what the future holds completely, but you do have to, and we're all here for just a season. We're not here forever. And so I think, we've got to make it as good as we can in our time, and then hopefully the next person takes on the baton and they carry it on. And that's what you want to see. And I think for us as a family, what is really important is that this area is preserved and conserved. And, the establishment of the Northern Drakensberg Nature Reserve has been such a vital step in that, because, it's gazetted now. It was gazetted last year in April. Okay. And the Cavern and Montousi and Sungubala are all part of that reserve. And it means that, it's our sort of part of our job is really to focus on conservation. And we've always been committed to that, but sometimes having a sort of like almost like a stamp of approval or a recognition that, this is what we are, it makes you really focus on that some more.
100%. I can see why. So Megan, looking at the next few years, right, what do you think is the future for Sungubala? Are there any new conservation projects or initiatives that you would like to introduce here?
Well, I think, new, maybe not so new, but just I think you've got to continue with what you're doing. So, I don't know, must have spoken a little bit about sort of alien vegetation eradication and that sort of thing. So, you have to go back every growing season. So you just have to commit to that. You have to keep doing it. Go back and get rid of the wattle trees. Keep the property pristine. Where we've got places where there's erosion on paths. That path maintenance takes a huge amount of effort. A lot of our guides are guiding hikes, but in the slower season when it's quieter, they then go out into the mountains and they help to, make waterways so that the paths don't become eroded. And so you have to, those sort of things are very important as well. And, there's a system of burning as well. Even, we do burn blocks of the veld, and that's part of, the
regeneration.
Regeneration of veld and grasslands. And that's actually one of the important things about this nature reserve is actually the grasslands. Trees are very important and forests are, but so are grasslands. And sometimes they can be overlooked, I think, in the whole, the big picture. People are they want to forest everything, but actually we need grasslands too. And those are really valuable. And I think it's just exciting to see eland back in the area, lovely big herds that move around this nature reserve now. And I think that our commitment stays, conserving the veld, making sure that the waterways are alien free, and also pristine. The Drakensberg it's a majorly important part of South Africa. We have a high rainfall.
No doubt.
A lot of that water is used elsewhere. it's important that we look after the space where it all comes from. Yeah.
Preserve the beauty and protect the land. Yeah.
Yeah, and to have it available. Like I said, you can't have conservation without, you do need some sort of income to make it sustainable. And so you want people to visit these areas. You want them to enjoy them. And that assists with, keeping them pristine and being able to ensure that future generations have these lovely spaces to visit.
It makes sense. And we would hope that these are still going to be around for a long time.
Yeah, no, definitely. And, the forests are... They're quiet. I mean, a lot of these forests, nobody goes into. They are, completely natural and beautiful. Yeah. And I think that is, it's really important that we have these spaces. The first Europeans that came into this area were actually woodcutters. So many of the predominant tree used to be a yellowwood, and the yellowwood trees were all cut out of the lower lying forests. And so there are some very special big trees in certain forests. And those are preserved and looked after. And what is exciting is that, obviously no more yellowwoods are being cut down. And so you see this sort of regeneration in the forests, which is exciting, And I think that is it. We can mess things up in life, but there's always time to, make it right again. And we've seen that, we've seen that with Eland coming back into this area. We've seen that with the forests, and grasslands improving. And so that's exciting, So it's, there's always hope. Yeah. And that's the important thing. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. No, I'm really glad to hear that it is busy regenerating and that you are seeing more and more the influx of the wildlife coming back and all of that. It's an amazing thing. Yeah. I also wanted to ask, out of curiosity, do you know if there are milkwood trees in this area at all?
Oh, now you're asking the wrong person.
I was just curious.
I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I'm not terribly good at remembering the names of plants and animals and birds, but I just know that we have got a lot of really good, beautiful indigenous trees in this area. And the other thing is that we tend to have a slightly warmer climate on this side of the Drakensberg, and so many of the trees are actually, they're bigger as a result. Yes. So it makes it it's actually a gentle part of the Drakensberg to visit, I think, because it is a little bit more temperate. Our winters definitely aren't as cold. And I think we just hugged by these mountains. Often in the winter we can be, here, and we can drive out into the valley and it can be 5 degrees colder. And when you get into the Midlands, it's like 8 degrees colder. So it's, so we really are very fortunate. At the Cavern, we don't get a lot of frost. So it's, and so plants, they do well because of that.
Can thrive. Yeah. No, the reason I ask is because obviously when we were hiking the other day, I noticed that some of the streams and pools in that were quite milky white, and I know that milkwood tends to actually do that to rivers. So just out of curiosity.
Yeah, it might also have to do something with the sandstone, because the sandstone breaks down quite easily.
Okay.
But we'd have to ask the experts.
Okay. Yeah, remind me. I might just need to.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And so, lastly, I wanted to ask you, right, when you think of Montusi, Mountain Lodge, Sungubala Eco Camp, and the Cavern Resort, right, regardless of which one guests come to and they end up staying at, what do you think is the one thing that you would want them to experience most, and what would you like them to carry away from their experience here?
Well, I think authentic stays or just authentic experiences are really important. So, being able to even interact with our staff and our team and hopefully meet us. I mean, we sometimes get very busy with the life and, we kind of under admin sometimes. And I think, piled under it, and we've got to get ourselves out the office a bit more often to sort of interact and chat to guests. But we do try to. But I think, just meeting the people that are on the ground and who actually provide the experiences is quite, I think it sort of enriches your experience if you are visiting a place, getting to meet some of the locals who are around. I think that is always key. And I hope that people experience the place, for what it is. None of I think the Cavern and Sungubala, we are not... they're not pretentious spaces, but we hope that people who, you know, will still enjoy them. We try to make them as comfortable and as beautiful as possible, and we're continually working at upgrading and improving what we do. And I hope that also people experience nature, you know, that you have that time where you can really switch off and be away from the city and away from the hassles, and also process your own challenges. You know, I think that mountains and hills and just having a bit of time in them and walking, even short walks, you know, all those worries sort of dissipate, and, you know, hopefully people leave us, whether they stay at the cabin or Montusi or Sungubala, feeling, you know, slightly more sort of regenerated and ready for the next challenge, because life is like that. It goes up and down. You can't escape the challenges. It is just part of what it is. And hopefully these places in the mountains provide people with an escape from that and the chance to just be, you know, whole again. Yeah.
A momentary, a period to just take a step back and to also reevaluate, you know. Because often we can get so stuck in what we're doing when we're doing it that sometimes there might even be a solution right in front of our noses, but we're too focused on the problem and we can't see the solution, you know. So,
I think also, you know, you've got to, where you go to new places, it's about experiencing what makes this place special and what makes it different, and looking for that, and, you know, being, you know, sort of enlightened by the history a little bit, and so funny, because I often wonder, sometimes, you know, we get comment, oh, the cabin's quite old, you know, because you arrive and there's this old stone building. But, you know, for us, you know, I know my grandfather built his own explosives and went into the mountains and blasted the rock. And that's actually, awesome. For us, that's the most beautiful building, because it's stone and it's, you know, handcrafted and has, you know, stood the test of time over 84 years. And, you know, impressive. And I think we have to, you know, sort of be respectful of those spaces. We don't want to bash everything down and make everything modern and new. We want to enjoy the solidness of what is old. Yeah.
Well, on that bombshell, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Yeah, it's
always great to chat.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. And again, same as I said, for the cabin, I hope this place prospers too, continually. Yeah. I wish you all the best with the conservation efforts, and may it just go from strength to strength. And
thank you.
Yeah,
lovely.
And to our viewers, once more, thank you so much. We still have 2 interviews coming up, one with Tabani Ndlovu from the Drakensberg Education Trust, and also Lindsay Bedingham from Montusi Mountain Lodge.
Lindsay Duplessis.
Oh, it's a Duplessis, my bad. Okay.
Yeah, Lindsay Duplessis.
All right.
But we all carts. That's where we all stem from. Yeah.
I see.
That's
yes, okay, that makes sense. Okay, cool. Well, yes, we still have 2 interviews coming up, so we'll keep you posted, and we'll see you then. Cheerio.